Tim's all over the place tonight, so we'll call on Mr. Quinn now for our best practices discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. Just as part of our requirements with the state of New Jersey, that is significantly tied into the appropriation of state aid coming from that, is a best practices questionnaire that the state of New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, Division of Legal Government Services, requires each municipality to do it. And I am pleased to report tonight this year's questionnaire in Morris Township again did extremely well. There were 30 questions, and we were successfully able to answer yes to 28 out of the 30. I'll get into the explanation on the 2 that we were not. But these questions deal with how we run Morris Township on a day-to-day basis, both from a policy point with the Township Committee and then also with day-to-day operations by our staff. Most of the questions here are directly related to the administration department, Township Clerk's office, and our finance. It deals with shared services and making sure that we are looking for opportunities to find shared services that would be beneficial to the township, that we're finding that we are performing the best financial practices, and that our audits are addressed and that any recommendations are made. As you know, on this past year's audit, we came out with pretty much a perfect score on that with our CFO, Francine DeAngelis. We look at our purchasing practices to make sure that they are compliant, along with our personnel policies that are compliant, that we are making sure that all of the awards that we do for our contracts follow the bid processes, and that we follow the Fair Labor Standards Act in dealing with our employees and the hours that they work. Again, we got a 93%, which is, the 2 questions. The 2 questions that deal with sick time accrual upon a retirement, and that is reducing that so that burden is no longer on the township. The first one deals with union employees, the second one deals with non-union employees. They're basically the same question. On the union, it has to be negotiated. Morris Township actually started doing this 20 years ago. In 1996, is putting monetary caps on that so that somebody can't accrue 25 to 30 to 40 years of sick time at a much lower rate and then get paid for it as they're walking out the door, where you've seen in the paper, payouts of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Morris Township limited that to $25,000 and reduced it even further to $15,000 several years later. And we continue with those practices. And Morris Township has also followed the policy that pretty much what our union employees' benefits get, our non-union employees' benefits mirror those. So if there was any questions in reference to my question, I greatly appreciate the assistance I got from our CFO, Francine DeAngelis, and our clerk, Kathleen Emilio, in working on this and getting this accomplished.
Any questions for the desk?
Looks good, Tim.
Very good.
Tremendous.
Just an observation, Mayor, that, just to emphasize the point that you mentioned, that a well-run town, the way Mr. Quinn runs it, really has actual direct monetary benefit in terms of state aid. So this is not a paper exercise by any means. It's not only, an analysis of where we sit, but it has financial benefit.
That is correct. As you get a lower score, it has a direct impact on the percentage of financial aid that you get, and it can be reduced if you don't follow best practice.
I'm sure it can.
We really ought to ask them to rephrase the 2 questions that you answered no to, because the ultimate goal is addressed, just not within the confines of the question.
Right. It was similar like last year's questions dealt with the introduction of your budget. By statutory, you have to do it in January or in February and adopt in March, but your state aid numbers don't come out until the first week of March, so
How do you know?
you can't do it. So in this year they address it, but now there's a provision that allows you to do it after you get your state aid. So maybe they'll listen. They listened last year, maybe they'll listen for next year. But they always threw a couple ringers in there. because they don't want anybody to get 100.
Right. They were probably trick questions, actually.
Oh, you got to read deep into the questions sometimes. They are.
We didn't even get graded on the curve, right? Any other questions from the dais?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn.